listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner. I'm on Absolute Radio, and I'm not on my own. I'm with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. If you'd like to contact us, you can text us on 81215, or you can follow us on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can email us through the Absolute Radio website. 3 options. You choose.
Oh, lovely.
You know, these are people who've been raised on the GCSEs.
3 options you choose. That's what people say about us 3.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose that is. Well, we said it, I think, at 3 o'clock in the morning at the Absolute weekend when we all went away. Got a bit drunk. Yeah. I was slightly offended, to be honest.
Yeah, still no takers.
Well, I was a couple of people.
Oh.
But, I mean, one of them was just the security bloke. I didn't have no presenter.
Just a
security bloke. But, you know.
Man that keeps you secure, and he's suddenly a just.
Yeah. Do I look secure to you?
You look deeply insecure to me.
By the way, full respect to Pete Allison, who started this show at, I think, 2 o'clock in the morning and just finished just before us. Due to staffing things, he did a 6-hour stint.
Was it staff shortages?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but he just did that. Most people, if they did 6 hours like that, they'd raise nearly £10,000 for charity. He's just done it. He's just done it, and this happened.
He sounded a bit broken by the end.
Well, he's tired.
I know.
But it's like, it's like someone running the London Marathon, but not for any charity. Just thinking, no, actually, just fancy a bit of a run this morning.
Wow. Yeah. I wonder if people do that. Good for them.
They won't let you do it.
No.
I asked. It's the only thing. It was my one.
Who did you ask?
The only thing that would motivate me sufficiently to do it is the liberation of not having anyone, having anyone banking on me.
Yeah.
I'm not having to dress up as a deep sea diver. Don't do that. Just put shorts on and do it.
Yeah. I'd rather just dress up as a deep sea diver and not do it.
Mm-hmm.
This is another way of doing it. Is wear the fancy dress and don't do the race.
Or deep sea diving. Could do that.
No, I can't do that.
No.
Don't ever mention that again.
You're not really a swimmer, are you? It's probably a bad suggestion.
The idea of deep sea diving is one of the most
Does it
terrifying.
scare you?
Oh, man. Just even thinking about being in there.
I'm sorry.
Where life is just...
Well, yeah, I've expressed my views on this previously on this show, that it's their manner, it's the fish's manner, hence I fear the sea.
Yes.
Swimming pools, love.
But I do think I Fear the Sea would be a great title for a song.
Mm-hmm.
Shall we write it now?
Yeah. I've got a pen.
I fear the sea.
Okay, I fear the sea.
For it washeth over me.
It's the worst song ever written.
It scans.
I am beneath the waves.
Beneath the waves.
Elvis Costello's had a few.
And remember that Jesus saved.
Couldn't help yourself, could you?
No, I had to
smuggle in a message.
I was so frightened. Once I'd put myself
committed
beneath the ocean, I was so terrified. I had to call on the Nazarene.
First link as well.
I love that song.
Yeah, well, maybe there'll be more of it later. I'm not saying it'll be the same melody. My memory isn't what it was.
I don't think that melody,
as far as I can remember,
could ever be repeated.
No, maybe not. It was I didn't want it too tuned for, because it's supposed to be,
I can sing it. I feel the sea. Oh, actually, it's horrible.
You're too strained. There's a sense that the oxygen isn't coming through correctly. Can you check that? Lopez, can you check that pipe? Sorry, you had to use the locals on these boating trips. You can't take your own people. There's unions.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
How many more news reports we're going to watch with a reporter standing looking really, really cold?
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Can't they just sit in...
The North Face jacket.
I sort of know, I know what rain looks like. Can't they just sit in the studio and tell us about it? I don't need them. All it makes me think is, it's not as bad as they're saying. They've driven in, easily enough.
How did they get there?
They're not separated from the outside world. You can get in there.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a crew in there. They've probably got catering.
Hair and
we're
makeup.
going to get emails now and texts from people in the Somerset Downs saying it's much worse than you've just portrayed it.
No, I'm sure it's awful for the people, but why send extra people in? Just
Good
tell
point.
us about it. They do it with wars as well. Just do it from the studio. I know it's awful. I don't want...
They do it with wars.
They do,
They do,
yeah.
yeah.
Why send innocent news reporters to war?
Because how else is Khaki going to get an outing?
Well, I suppose there is that. Well, there's always the possibility of an uptown top-ranking revival. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
No,
of
what's
course.
that?
It was Althea and Donna had a
course I
single.
do.
Oh,
Uptown top ranking. Can you do the axe? You can't.
No.
Okay. Imika Aki suit and ting. That wasn't me doing the accent. That was me just reading a direct transcript. I find the accent is implicit.
uh-huh.
So I watched the Winter Olympics opening ceremony.
Oh, me too.
What do you think?
Wow. There's a lot to discuss. Did you watch it, Alan?
I didn't watch it, no.
What's wrong with you?
Can I say
I'm not
general
into the,
overview? General
winter
overview
sports.
better than the opening ceremony of the Summer Olympics in London.
No, it's
More
not.
expensive.
I thought it was better.
It's the most
Why?
expensive.
I just thought the
Because you're
dance.
obsessed by Russians.
No, the dancing was better.
Was it
They're
on ice?
dancing.
There was
Was it on ice?
some of it was on ice.
There was
No
a
problem
ballet.
with that.
It ought to be, really. They shouldn't be allowed on any firm surface, I don't think, if it's the Winter Olympics.
What about when the man from the Austrian delegation fell over? That was awful.
Did someone fall over? Oh,
You know when
I
they're
wish
all
I'd
coming
watched it
in?
now.
They're all coming in and representing their teams.
Oh.
One of the Austrians fell over.
See,
Oh,
that
the
upsets me that I didn't watch it now. I didn't watch it because I thought they'd all be really good at slipping. I have problems with winter sports because it's basically all versions of slipping, isn't it? It's like skiing,
but it
slipping,
works.
snowboarding, slipping.
It worked though, because as I've said before, there are certain countries which I call the Danny Minogue countries, which are
Yeah.
the countries that they're the less famous sister of another country.
Yeah.
Austria, obviously, Kylie is Germany.
Yeah.
And Austria is Danny.
Mm-hmm.
So if one of those guys slip over, it's sort of, no.
Mm-hmm.
But if it had been a German, you'd have thought, yeah, well, that serves you right. Kylie. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't call Germany Kylie, but I know it's the Pope.
I like Germany now. They went for the rainbow colours in protest.
Hey, I've got
Did
nothing
they?
against
Yeah,
Germany.
love them for that.
But, yeah, but, there's no need for that. All they needed was tattoo at the opening ceremony. They've made their statement about the gay culture. They played Tchaikovsky. How much gay culture do they want?
Was he? I don't know what the reference is there with Tchaikovsky.
Well, guess.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, should I guess off air? But I don't think he can sue us, can he?
I think he's established.
I think it's what you refer to as a friend of my parents.
He,
Oh, it's on telly at the moment, Frank.
On telly.
Yeah, I don't think we should plug telly at this stage in the show. People are already hovering.
But one of the rings malfunctioned.
Yeah,
it
but you know
become a star
what? Can I
instead?
say this? On our cooker, exactly the same ring we're having a problem with.
Really?
What is the chances of that? Exactly top right.
Don't know.
I actually liked the Olympic
7 to
symbol
1.
better with one snowflake.
Yeah, it's
in it.
nice.
I think the Winter Olympics one should have one snowflake in the corner, and the Summer Olympics should have the sun, with sticks coming off it like in a child's drawing. So when you see the Olympic symbols, you know which Olympics you're talking about.
That's a good idea. We should write that down and put that to the board. It's just,
Okay, what do you think the Paralympics one should be, Alan?
I'll play a song and I'll give it some thought.
Oh, okay. I thought you'd have just come off with something off the top of your head.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I started an inadvertent texting with asking me what the missing ring should be on the Paralympics. 332 was texted, for the Paralympics rings just have one ring missing. And 999...
Is that all right? Is that all right?
Well, that's what they're
think that's
suggesting.
all right.
I think that's all right.
Well, you could have a wheelchair
We'll let it
wheel,
pass.
couldn't you?
It's sort of taking it on board, isn't it? There's
What about
ownership.
the disabled toilet sort of symbol of the wheelchair?
Yes.
You could have that as the
Oh,
one of the
that'd
rings.
work.
It might jar a bit.
I just think that they need a bit of customising. Otherwise, the Olympics is just the Olympics, and you want to establish, the specialist Olympic genre. I say the genre.
The fifth symbol in the Paralympics could be a star. That's nice. That's
Don't
what someone's
get it.
saying. Well, I don't think it's a get it thing. I think they're just saying...
Well, that could be for
Could
any
be.
of them.
Yeah,
That's the Night Olympics they're thinking of.
yeah.
The Lunar Olympics. Rubbish.
Hi, I believe
Sorry,
that
but
each
thanks for
Olympic...
joining in.
I believe each Olympic ring represents each continent, so the interest lies in which continent has been allocated each colour and who have they let down.
Maybe it was intentional.
Oh, right,
Pesky, you know.
Anyway,
Europeans.
I watched the opening ceremony. I thought it was fabulous. And my girlfriend, who I watched it with, when the flags appear, and she said, "Oh no, our flag never looks very good next to all the flags. It's too busy."
Is it?
Oh, really?
And it is quite busy.
From a design perspective,
Yeah.
I just think it's a bit. Yeah, it's just a bit British Bulldog, isn't it?
I know,
We
all
could start a campaign to have it revamped, couldn't we?
Yeah, I just think it needs
Simplify.
simplifying a bit. Maybe
Yeah.
just the red cross on the white background.
Hang on. Hold on a minute.
Well, listen, if Scotland gets independence, if they vote for independence, are we going to have to tip-X the St Andrew cross out of the Union
Yeah.
Jack?
Well, these are the questions that haven't been answered yet in the big debate.
Yeah.
have
Well,
they?
it seems a bit mad to have the Union Jack with the St Andrew's cross if they're an independent country. We might as well have a red dot in the middle for
Yeah,
Japan.
you can't have it both ways.
Yeah? Well,
Did we take the
Frank,
Japan
what
dot
about-
out at some point, historically, then?
no, but
Exactly.
you'd agree with me, it shouldn't be in the Union Jack.
I don't know, I quite... Yeah, just leave it as
Don't
it
get me
is
wrong,
and
I
move
want
on.
them to stay, but if they want to go,
Oh, do you want them
they're
to
going to have
stay?
to take their
I don't. I
insignia.
think it's all right.
This is the weirdest episode of Question Time I've ever been on. What about some of those sailors, Frank? Oh, I love the sailors. They had little vests
when
on.
was this?
Oh, this was last night.
Oh, in
what,
the
on the
ceremony?
What, on the telly?
I thought you meant in Scotland, then. I was thinking...
Can I just say?
Yeah, we had a fabulous weekend
Sailors.
once. We had Emily in Scotland with, I think, was it 9 sailors?
For a country that's having, let's say, some issues with gay rights at the moment, it was very camp, I thought, that opening ceremony. I don't know if it was intentional.
I was a bit, I felt a bit, they tip-X'd out, speaking of tip-X,
Yeah.
they tip-X'd out Stalin.
They did.
He didn't get a look in. And
It's
the
almost
whole,
Stalinist.
even the communists, the whole, communist thing, obviously I couldn't wait for the communism to come
Yeah.
up, because it was all about the history of Russia.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this will be, and there was some missile action, but, I mean, generally they
Some missile action.
Generally, they played it down. Even the space race, I felt, was played down. Although, very exciting when Valentina Tereshkova came out. First woman in space.
Oh,
Except
yeah.
the only person to say that in the world.
No, I was genuinely, properly excited by that.
You love a cosmonaut, don't you?
I do love a cosmonaut, but a female cosmonaut.
Yeah, exactly. It's ticking a lot of boxes for you.
Yeah, and she looked
Out of this world.
sturdy. You know what I mean? She looked like a woman even now who you wouldn't want to elbow if you was getting on a bus with her.
Well, the athletes do go that way later on. They go to stirred, I find.
Yeah, but I mean, she's a cosmonaut. So,
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
But
Well, athletic to a degree.
But I did think I'd like to kiss her. You know what I mean? She had that kind of allure, that kind of
Did you?
someone who's been to a special place. What you looked at me like that for?
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Frank, we've had a correctionian from Julius who says it's only a Union Jack on a boat/ship. Otherwise, it's the Union flag.
Thank you, Julius. Et tu, Brute.
Yeah.
Can I
joining.
say that is one of those facts, and thank you, Julius, for joining me.
Yeah.
I do appreciate it, but it is one of those facts that people tell you, like, I've been told that 1,000 times in my life.
Yeah.
There are certain facts that they're under the guise of unusual, not very known facts, but are very, very
Everyone knows them.
Yeah. I think to prove that, Gary from Andover has got in touch saying, Frank, useless fact, it's only a Union Jack if it's at sea, otherwise it's called the Union flag.
Yeah.
And we'll have another load in an hour when this goes out on
Another
the
load?
digital
Doesn't make
station.
But, Emily, what is another unusual fact
Yes.
that, in fact, everyone knows?
I think
Well,
I'm guilty on this
I
one.
think Alan Cochrane might be guilty of this fact. That Gary Oldman is in fact Big Mo's brother.
Yes, that
Yeah.
is.
And people-
Really?
Yeah, that's...
There will be people. See, this is the problem. There'll be people
It
now
is the
listening
problem.
saying, you are having a laugh. They'll be saying, the way people do in the modern world. But, yeah, that's one of those.
Yeah.
No two snowflakes are the same.
And,
Oh, that's so one of
Topical.
those.
your rant about Scottish independence has borne fruit.
Was that a rant?
Well, I'm exaggerating somewhat, I think. Too right, Frank. If the Scots want independence, then let's remove their flag and, if possible, raise the height of Hadrian's Wall. Lol.
No, I don't.
Great
But,
show.
yeah, I don't.
That's the sort of person you want as a great show listener.
But I don't want him. No, come on, he's joining in again. I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go. But if they're going to go, they're going to have to take their insignia. That was my point.
Yeah.
Right.
I want us to stay together as one not that happy family.
Right.
You
You and Cameron on the same page on this.
One of those rare occasions when we're on the same page. Yes, I agree with that. So what I'd like is if anyone can think of, any of our readers can think of facts that you're told as if no one knows them, but everybody knows them. Mm-hmm. What else is there?
Oh, there's always what about the Queen owning the swans? That irritates me.
Oh yeah, the
People say
Queen
that.
owns the swans.
Oh
That's
yeah, we all
sort of
know
good.
that.
Anyway, I'll tell you a fact that not many people do know.
Oh, yeah.
I certainly didn't know. I was
What?
completely ignorant to this, and I wish I did know.
Go on.
Okay, you may recall, regular readers, that it was my birthday, it was 28th of January.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the presents that the team, my radio family, bought me was a case of alcohol-free wine.
Oh yeah.
Reisberg. Eisberg. E-I-S-B-E-R-G. They
Jesse
make it.
Iceberg.
And it's alcohol-free wine. And I love it. And I was sitting.
Can I say
watching
how
that.
much he loves it? That when I went round last week, wasn't it, Frank? You've just been watching the football, and it can't have been. It wasn't much after 5,
Yeah.
and he
Early.
had a little glass of wine.
Early.
Wearing
Early to have the
jeans.
wine open. No.
FYI, wearing jeans, drinking
Oh,
wine.
I wish you hadn't dobbed me in. I was at home.
It's like going round to Jeremy Clarkson's house.
So, can I just say, I have a photograph in my hand now, which I'm happy to post on our website.
Oh yeah.
Eisberg is the name of the wine,
Yeah.
and it says on the label, alcohol-free wine.
Lovely.
Made from quality wine with the alcohol removed. Okay?
Lovely.
On the back it says Eisberg, alcohol-free wine. It has a zesty lemon and melon flavours and has had the alcohol carefully removed, making it perfect for you to enjoy at any time. And then it says, Reisberg, full of wine, free of alcohol. And then at the bottom it says, can I say this? At the bottom, after all that, it says alcohol, not more than 0.05 volume. So there's alcohol in it.
Oh,
Having said alcohol-free wine on about 6 occasions on the label, then Eisberg, Leisberg, that's what I call it.
smells like a
Leisberg.
German trial.
I know, but I'm thinking
Reisberg.
of taking legal action because I've noticed since I've been drinking, I've been feeling a bit slurry.
Uh-huh.
I think it's
Just
already
thought you were tired
affecting
at
my
first,
career,
didn't you?
and I'm having an urge to sleep on a central reservation in Birmingham. I've started waking up and thinking, bed's a bit dry this morning. And honestly, you can't say alcohol-free wine taken out, all the alcohol taken out 5-6 times, and then say at the bottom there's a bit of alcohol in it.
No, I think you're right.
No, but there's alcohol in everything.
No, there is. What are you talking about?
Pretty much.
Water.
There's alcohol in things that don't
Water.
make you drunk.
It's like
Aren't there?
if Absolute was advertising itself as a I don't know, a Nickelback free zone. We all know there's a bit of Nickelback in it.
Frank Skinner.
On Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We were talking before about facts that people tell you as if they're interesting and then everyone knows them.
Well,
Is
they're
that-
interesting.
That's pretty
but-
much what
yeah.
we're... Yeah.
But they're told as if it's something you don't know. But
It's a
everybody knows.
revelation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think this is a doozy, shall we say. Father Christmas is only red because of 1934 Coca-Cola marketing campaign.
Yes.
Guilty as charged. I think I
Do you
said
tell
that to
people
people all
that?
the way through December.
Yes.
What about
Oh,
244? Another fact everyone knows: Elvis Presley was a twin. Yeah, people tell you that a lot.
Do they?
I didn't
They
know
don't
that.
tell
Oh,
me.
Frank,
They don't
the
dare
way
tell
Frank
me.
said, do they? That means he does it.
I don't do it.
Sam in Essex, Frank, he's had a similar experience on the alcohol front. I loved you and your show for many years now. I was shocked one day to find that Fentiman's Victorian lemonade also has a trace of alcohol, as you described. Scandalous. And me, a non-drinker. I blame the coalition.
Well, you wouldn't get away with halal. That's all I'm saying.
No, you're right.
Besides, speaking of lemonade... Pardon?
You can't have alcohol in halal, that's a definite rule.
No, but it's just, you're told what's in it and what isn't in it. If I lived in a smoke-free zone, I couldn't say I have a fire now and again. It's all right. It's not acceptable. But speaking of lemonade, did you know that Elvis Costello's dad did the voice in The Secret Lemonade Drinker?
No.
Sorry, that's another one.
That's so one of those.
Oh, Alan didn't know.
See, what's going to happen is we're going to find out that half of these I tell people and the other half I don't know. So that's... What does that make me? Dull.
I don't know.
Dull.
No, never that. What about this?
Sorry, I'm just laughing. This isn't relevant if you were listening on Absolute 80s or Absolute 20s, but I do like Jack from Nottingham saying, this is the most Birmingham song I've ever heard. Sorry.
About what?
I think you played Iggy Pop on one of our stations.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we like Iggy. So I've been doing gigs this week, stand-up gigs at the Leicester Square Theatre.
Welcome back. Your all-conquering return to stand-up, isn't it?
Yes, that's what it is. And I did a show the other night. It's lovely, great. I was very enjoyable. And then towards the end of the show, I suppose about 10 or 15 minutes before the end, I got heckled, which is fine. Oh. But heckled in a fabulous, long heckle.
A diatribe?
Well, it wasn't a diatribe. It was quite a detailed critique of my performance on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Oh, no!
Including such points as... I have to say, I think that, I think the questions were very tricky. And all that. But looking at... I'll tell you what it's like. When you're driving... and local traffic news comes on. You haven't got the radio, and suddenly there's local traffic news. It was like that. It was quite a long thing, and said, I thought you did awesome. But, some of those questions were tricky. I mean, that one, and it was like that. It was kind of an incredible... But anyway.
How bizarre.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Frank, we're talking about facts that we all know that people think are very unusual.
Yeah.
760 has texted us. You mentioned Tipex earlier, Frank. Did you know it was invented by Mickey DeLenz's mother? That's from Dan in Southport.
Mickey DeLenz, of course, was in the Monkees.
Yes.
So was Mike Naismith, whose mother invented Tipex.
Yeah.
I'm afraid you've got the wrong monkey.
Oh, has he?
Oh. I hate it when people get the wrong monkey.
Oh, when you get the wrong monkey, it's one of the worst things.
Yeah.
Mike was the one I fancied. Who was the one you fancied?
I think mine was Peter Tork.
Oh, okay.
But, I just like that because he was so cheap.
Yeah.
Speaking of cheap, I watched... I've been about to watch The Musketeers.
You have been about to watch The Musketeers.
Because it's got Capaldi in it, so I'm interested to see it.
Why did he take that part? That must have been before Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It would have been, yeah. But he was... I thought he was good, actually, but
yeah.
I think here's another text in for this morning. Who actually likes bedroom scenes in TV dramas? Why do they have
those? You're going to sound prudish here.
I'm not.
Why don't you like them?
It's a sort of prudishness in that I just find them tedious and embarrassing. And if I wanted to watch a bedroom scene, I would turn to the internet.
Right.
Whereas, no, but I'm not saying I do want
sweet.
to. So I've got it for George Harrison. I just think that I don't want. It's a romp, is what it is. It's good-looking actors and actresses in bed talking about Cardinal Richelieu. I mean, who wants that? I'm profoundly
don't come round to mine then.
Pardon?
Don't come round to mine if you don't like that.
I'm sorry. No, but it could have been such a... I bet there's none of that in Alexander Dumas.
Was there a couple of bed scenes where there?
You don't think there is? You don't think there's some bed scenes in the book? You don't think?
I doubt
Do
it.
you know what
I
I
haven't
hate
read
about
it.
that Musketeers? It's British and it's free, and those are my two worst things when it comes to telly. I can't bear that.
Oh, yeah.
It's just that cheapness. I don't know if it's cheap, in fairness. All I saw...
I'm sure it cost a lot to make, but don't put it on the
Yeah.
bedroom scene. Honestly, if anyone enjoys a sort of bedroom, you know, talking to a wench in bed, and the bloke's showing his scars from his duelling scars
Oh,
to
is
us
he?
like that.
Yeah.
And they all look
And they
like...
feed each other grapes.
They all look like Oliver Martinez, every one. Remember who went out with...
Yes.
Kylie?
And Frank, why do they end the bedroom scene? They laugh throatily, and then they get back to the business again.
Just why?
Yeah.
Why can't we take... You know, if you watch Challenge Channel, there's a big question mark in the corner. Can we just bring that in over the bedroom scene? So just say, why are we having this?
You're listening to the Frank Skinner podcast from Absolute Radio. Want your Frank fix a little sooner? Listen live every Saturday from 8 a.m. on Absolute Radio. Across the UK on digital radio, mobile apps, and in London and the South East on 105.8 FM.
Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. These very old friends of mine. That's a song. It's from a song, is it? Anyway, you can text us on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter at Frank on the Radio, or you can... bored now. I'm bored with that.
You've
The
been
housework thing.
You've been talking all show about how you don't... Well, not all show, but for two links, about how you don't like bed scenes, Frank.
Why, for two linkside?
You don't like bedroom scenes.
No,
Yeah.
I don't.
688, Fiona agrees with you. I hate TV kissing scenes.
Yeah, why do they bother?
That noise of sucking, she says, that's made. I
And
know what
also,
you mean.
you know,
Yeah.
there's like music and everybody's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And also, I find that the sheet doesn't tend to stop just above where it gets rude. The sheet goes where it likes.
The sheet. Yeah.
It's like the sheet. You know,
I
they
find
only-
the
they
sheet
only
ends
have
up
one.
in a crumpled ball at the end of the bed.
They always have one sheet. They never have a duvet because you're watching the Musketeers.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, surely it was freezing in those old houses, and they've got
blankets.
one silk sheet they've got on the bed. That's all.
And why does the silk sheet go at the angle where it covers the man's, his sort of centaur
Yeah,
half,
yeah.
let's call it, and the lady's top half?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Always that angle.
So that's today's text.
45 degrees.
If you two hate the rude bits on telly, text in
Well,
on
they're not
812.
rude, are they?
It's like teenagers. Oh, watching this. And
John in Telford says, I agree about the bedroom scenes, I also hate them in a novel. I skip past them.
I do.
Do you?
Yeah, I hate them.
That's why I love your copy of Lady Chatterley's Lover. It's immaculate.
It is, yeah.
So-
Well, I had an argument with David Baddiel about it, 'cause he was on about the bad sex awards, you know, when people
Oh,
get
yeah.
condemned.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, I just wish there was no sex in books at all.
What does he say?
And, well, I think we came close to having an argument about it. I think, because he likes John Updike and stuff, I
Oh,
think that's
God.
quite a lot
Yeah,
of
that's
fun.
all there is in there.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say that, but
near
it's
enough.
not for me. Aber das ist nicht für mich, as they say in Germany.
Right.
Okay.
We've also...
Can I have another texting
Yeah,
question?
go for
I'd
it.
like to throw some
Set 'em up.
questions out today,
Yeah.
you know.
yeah.
This is based on the George Clooney coffee adverts, which are everywhere at the
It's
moment.
George Clooney!
Yeah.
Interesting you should
The
mention
George
that,
Clooney coffee adverts, and the question for our readers is, how much money does a person need? Okay.
8, 12, 15. That's the texting.
It was asked many years ago in a different guise by, was it Tolstoy?
Well, I just... Do you think, George...
I know.
You're doing a coffee advert?
But it's George Clooney!
I know, but if George Clooney lived to be 5,018, he would not run out of money.
You might be worried about 5,019, though. That's the thing, innit? You might be thinking, what if I get to 5,000? What if I get to 5,019? There we go.
I thought you know, I looked at the door then. I thought he'd come in with,
I do
with
all the
coffees
voices.
for everyone.
I do
What
all
if he
the
came in,
voices.
coffee, with a tray? So he'll be doing that in the next advert. If they up the money a bit, coffee, hello George, coffee, in a silk sheet just hanging just below his navel.
297, Chris has texted, Frank, there were certainly no bedroom scenes in Dogtanion and the Musker Hounds, which sets the benchmark. True.
Definitely not. And whereas we know dogs, they're never more than 6 yards away from the physicals.
Oh, they love a bedroom scene, the dogs, don't they?
I'm glad
I don't
someone's
have
brought
them in the
up.
bedroom.
I'm glad someone's brought up D'Artagnan, because that is one of the problems I've had watching the Musketeers. Is every time they say D'Artagnan, I have a little bit of going.
Oh, yeah.
I thought they've mispronounced that. Oh no,
Are
this
you
is the right
coping
way.
with Sky's Dracula series? Are you thinking, surely that's Docular, isn't it?
I haven't watched that yet.
My problem with the Musketeers, you see, you talk about the bedroom scenes, too many clothes. There's hats, there's breeches,
God, yeah,
crisscross shirts. They're all trussed up like turkeys.
But
Just
as-
have a cloak.
But as our producer was saying, Daisy, during the break, that those scenes always end with someone having to jump out the window.
There's been quite a bit of jumping out the window.
And there was plenty of that.
Yeah.
And it's the same in any. It was the same in Robin Asquith's Confessions of a Window Cleaner. So it's the same trope. The only difference is instead of it's my husband, it's it's Cardinal Richelieu. That's the only difference.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
965 says, don't you think it's a bit odd that you never see the Musketeers with muskets? Simon in Catford
think
says
there
this.
was-
What do you say to this?
I think there was one musket in it. I saw one musket.
Yeah.
It's true though, when you see that advert, The Art of the Chocolatier, there's always chocolate.
You and that art of the chocolatier.
Yeah, you're obsessed with it.
I wouldn't mind seeing the Three Chocolatiers as a show.
There's a spin-off.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm
could do it
panicking
on
about this.
Red button.
Sorry, Al, I was going to say I'm panicking. You know this Tipex fact?
Yes.
Which
We've had
started
lots
life
of-
as one of those things that everyone knows, which is, Frank.
Well, it started off from one of our readers who said that Mickey Dolenz, his mom, invented
And the monkeys.
Tipex.
Yeah. Frank and I corrected him.
Yeah, we've corrected him with Tipex,
Yeah.
as it were.
Very good.
We were convinced it was Mike Naismith.
We're certain, I go
Wool
so
Hat,
far as to say.
as he was sometimes known initially. He was known as Wool Hat.
Was he?
And then we had a couple of texts saying, in fact, it's Peter Talk's mom, that we were wrong. Now, at first, I thought, nay, Smith, I thought to myself. But now I'm thinking that maybe they talk sooth talk.
Sooth.
So,
I'm not going to doubt
you
us.
know, we've always been anti-Google and the like on this show because we feel that we should... well, you can Google stuff you don't know,
Yeah.
but not stuff you don't remember. But
Which
we
leaves
think
a lot
now,
of room for me to Google it, because I didn't know any of these
I hate
things.
it when you're self-effacing. So I think we're going to actually Google something.
Should we do a live Google?
Oh, my
Yeah, why don't we
goodness.
do
Let's
a
do it,
live-
the first time
See-
ever. Should we
see-
play a jingle for it? I'm going to... Because 760 Frank also says, I'm sure it was Mickey Delenz. So are you sticking with Naismith?
I'm sticking with Naismith,
100%
but I have been
Naismith.
slightly swerved by it. It isn't a lens. What they're thinking of, who was Circus Boy? That's that fact.
Well,
Also, Mickey Delenz, I think, produced one of the finest television shows.
Okay,
British
I'm live Googling,
TV.
Frank, as we speak.
Metal Mickey.
I'm
Oh,
punching in.
Hold it. A bit of
Okay.
music. This is what I always Google too. I think when you Google, this should just automatically
be
come on
great.
your computer.
Monkeys, Tipex. I
Yeah.
love typing that in. Okay.
And the answer is
I think I have an answer.
is
Okay.
it just like advice on how to
The
get
inventor
Tipex off your
of
monkey?
Tipex was Betty Naismith. Liquid paper, it was called originally. There you go.
Results.
I remember that.
Skinner and Dean triumph. How absolutely marvellous. I once heard the right-wing historian David Irving interviewed on the radio, and he said he launched what I think they call nowadays a diatribe, which
Yeah.
I just thought was a very, very poor tribe. But he launched a diatribe against women in general and said, they've never invented anything. And the interviewer said, well, I believe they invented Tipex. He said, well, yes, well, they'd have to, wouldn't they?
The implication being they made so many mistakes in the office.
and I suppose they type. They're the
Oh.
typists of the world, he was suggesting.
That guy.
He was a dreadful man.
Frank, in the Three Chocolatiers, their adversary would be Cardinal Rocher, surely. Very fine, 546.
Yeah, very fine.
On a monkeys theme, Davy Jones was in Coronation Street. That's one of those
That's
facts,
another
isn't
one.
it?
Yeah, playing Ian Sharple's nephew, if I remember rightly.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We need to talk about Jose Alvarenga. I think I've got that right.
Okay.
He's not a football manager. He's the
Is that the first draft of we need to talk about Kevin? And then they said, bit of a mouthful, isn't it?
He's the, I'm going to say, legend that has been on his boat for 14 months.
Oh yes, he's that man. The Castaway.
Can I
The
just say
Castaway.
that clattering sound you can hear is the producer stuffing her face with cake.
I thought it was Clooney coming in with the espressos. We should say this bloke, he claims there's been some doubts about this.
Oh, yeah.
Jose, yeah.
That he's been on an open boat.
La Chancha?
He's been alone on an open sea.
La Chancha?
Are we going to quote the Rime of the Ancient Mariner a lot?
The Daily
on this
Mail
one?
quoted the Rime of the
Yes.
Ancient Mariner. They said that Coleridge says jokily, water everywhere and not a drop to drink. I don't know. I'm not sure it's a gag.
No.
But anyway, so they're saying that maybe he wasn't in an open boat for 14 months.
Maybe, maybe.
He
looks
looked
like
good.
a castaway, doesn't he?
He had a big bushy beard, but it was more Adam Buxton. It was more healthy.
Yeah, I thought he looked quite good when he got off the boat, and then they gave him a trim and made him look not so good.
See,
to me.
that
Can I
was a
tell you-
mistake.
Yeah.
What I do not want is a castaway who's had a shave.
You
No.
don't like your castaway to be made over straight away. That's,
No, I mean, you've got to enjoy the castaway look for a bit.
Yes.
Till you've done a couple of chat shows and stuff.
totally, yeah.
I'll tell you what I found a bit
Turn up
suspicious, though,
barefoot.
Frank. Is after, was it 14 months he was living at sea, apparently?
Yeah.
What I found rather suspect was that when he drifted ashore and then found these villagers who ran towards him with coconut water and a papaya fruit, he apparently put up his hands and said, no, tortilla.
Yeah.
No, I think he said, hadn't he been living on turtle blood?
He'd
Yeah,
been
and raw
turtle
fish.
blood and raw fish.
Yeah.
Let me heard him. He said, "Have you got any turtle blood?"
Yeah.
When I saw him without the beard, I really felt let down.
Uh-huh.
It was like a castaway, a clean-shaven castaway. Forget about it. It was like it's like when me and David Baddiel went to the Moulin Rouge in Paris and they didn't do the can-can.
No.
Yeah,
That's terrible.
I mean, why go?
What about when the doctor examined him and said he has no cough, no fever, plus he's not that thin? I would have killed that doctor.
Yeah, I felt that was a bit
Can you
cruel,
imagine?
wasn't
Plus
it?
he's not that thin.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
he's just
that-
been on
I
a
would
boat
just
for
die.
14 months. He gets off and you make him body dysmorphic straight away. Give the guy a break.
I have to say now,
Tiptoe around it for a while.
I find it very fattening, turtle blood.
Yeah. The
You know,
raw
it-
fish should counterbalance that, though. The sashimi,
I don't know.
that should
How
help,
much of
shouldn't
that.
it?
14 months of it.
It's a bit samey after about 13 months, isn't it?
It's a bit Nobu 2007.
I liked it when they said that no sooner had he landed than locals looted his boat. And I thought, that's absolutely terrible. Then I read a little further and it says they took a knife and a long piece of wood.
Yeah.
I thought, now, is that looting? Does that honestly qualify as looting?
If you only need two hands, it's not looting, is it?
I
That's
did
just
think
carrying
as well.
away.
Has the writer never heard the word mast? That's what I'm guessing's happened there.
Frank, you know the best news of all? He had the old tattered shorts with the intact button,
yeah.
Hulk style.
He did, yeah.
Yeah.
But they were
Nice.
boxers, weren't they?
Just
Yeah.
a pair of boxer
There was one
shorts.
hole in a... Yeah.
Yes, well...
He'd obviously not been playing sport on the day that he left. Otherwise, he'd be in a pair of briefs, wouldn't he?
And also... Yeah,
You would.
I would,
Also,
yeah.
he... They said he was in Mexico, but he
Yeah.
was an illegal immigrant
Yes.
in Mexico. But Mexico were letting him off because of his castaway.
And then there was even more rumour, which and this sounds like I'm making a joke, but I heard on the radio that there was suspicion that he was a trained gorilla, and I misheard gorilla for gorilla. Like
You did not.
I did. I thought, it's amazing what they can do now, isn't it?
Yeah, but I don't know if they should let him off for being an illegal immigrant. Because
I
he's a
don't either. George Clooney!
All I'd say, if there's any illegal immigrants listening, that's the answer. Get a gimmick.
The Frank Skinner Show. Listen live every Saturday morning from 8 on Absolute Radio.
Are we still all at sea?
Yeah, with
Talking about La
Alvarenga,
Chancha.
or La Chancha, as I much prefer calling him.
The man from La Chancha.
No, the pig.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, his fellow fishermen call him.
Alvarenga.
That's what his fishermen call him, La Chancha.
Mm-hmm.
They love a nickname, don't they? I don't know. I read more and more
They
things in the
do,
paper.
yes.
I read more and more... I met fishermen. I read more and more things in the paper featuring people who are also known as, and then about
Yeah.
3 other names that they're known as in various... Odd, what is it with people? They used to just have a name.
Yeah.
There's something going on in Central South America where people's nicknames become their names. You know what I mean?
Is
Oh,
there?
yeah. Like the jackal.
Like Pele was a nickname, wasn't it?
And the jackal.
And the jackal, yeah.
Yeah, La Chancha. It's all adding up now, isn't it?
What about his wife? Did you read about this?
Yes.
She sounds a bit like me. I like the sound of her. Apparently, she said sarcastically, yes, he was really fun to be around.
But how did they know that was sarcastic?
I think it was her tone of voice.
Yeah.
And
It was a tone of the translator's voice.
I think it was the fact that he left her with an 18-month-old or something. I think that's that's perhaps the
But
sarcasm.
you know what, love? I wouldn't worry because he's not that thin. Close quotes.
So he didn't actually leave her. He only nipped out for 20p to Stuyvesant. He just got... He was cast away. He
No,
didn't
he's
mean
only
to
been
be
on the
away
boat for 14 months. He hasn't seen her for 10 years or so.
Oh, I thought he'd say, I'll go and get you a nice haddock. And then he lost control of his rudder. That's what I thought he was suggesting.
Don't think it was. Although I think the story has a certain parable quality for the people in Somerset Downs right now. This guy survived for 14 months on a boat with nothing. They've got a bit of flooding. Just get yourselves a little boat.
Can I completely disassociate myself from this
I
remark?
knew you were going to do that.
And offer my deepest sympathy for people who are stuck in the horrible flooding.
Mine too.
But also, we're not... there is some doubts, isn't there, about this bloke and his 14 months. They think he might have done like a week or something.
They think it's a bit
Yeah.
suspicious.
At least he's not claiming to be a concert pianist. I mean, that's what they usually do when they're found on the beach. Have we heard from the outside world?
Well,
by
we
the way?
have, because 524 has texted us, Jane in London, a.k.a., and she
Jane
says...
in London would be a great name for a shop, wouldn't it?
Or a diary, like a blog. Oh,
Jane in
I
London.
wonder what's happening with
Or a band.
Jane in London.
Or a high-class escort. She says, I think George Clooney agreed to do the coffee ad for having his fee donated to Sudan War Relief. So, to be fair to George Clooney, that sheds a whole new light on things,
Well,
doesn't it?
if that's true. I mean, I heard that the Go Compare man, all of his fee went to Sue Ryder.
Is that right?
Yeah, but whether that's true or not.
I heard it all went to Greg's Bakers.
Really? I wouldn't exactly call them bakers.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Frank, I want to talk about this student who's doing this biology exam. Did
Oh,
you
do
read
you?
about it? That is absolutely disgusting.
Is it
And
Looker, is
and
he?
I like it. No, he decided to ask his teacher for advice. Well, he didn't really. He was a bit cheeky. He didn't know the answer to his biology question. And can I tell you what the question was? Explain how a nitrogen atom in the upper atmosphere becomes useful to an archaeologist trying to determine the age of a bone.
And that's today's texting, ladies and gentlemen.
No, because we have the sort of readers that will know the answer to that. It'll be
Sure.
something to do with carbon dating, won't it?
Yes.
Yes. I
Do you
believe
remember
so.
carbon mating?
What was that? That was something we did on the show.
I don't know if we ever did it. We were talking about it. Carbon mating was in one of the papers. It was an article. It was about people who always go out with people that look the same. Like Rod Stewart always goes out with like tall blonde women.
Uh-huh.
So so carbon mating.
So anyway,
Chew that over. You can use that in your everyday lives.
Yeah.
so
Remember, my theory was
what was it?
that that Rod Stewart always goes out with women that look like that because he doesn't want to change the girlfriend picture on his Wii. Carry on.
Anyway, the student didn't know the answer, so he said, since I do not know this, I have a question for you. I just started texting this girl, and I know she thinks I'm cute, but I don't really know how to start a conversation with her, so I was wondering if you have any ideas.
He wrote that in his
In his exam.
Yeah.
To Mr. J. I love the sound of Mr. J. Sounds a bit children's TV. Do you know what Mr. J said? He said, impress her by talking about how atmospheric nitrogen can be used to age artefacts. Works for me every time.
Good for Mr. J.
He's a bit of a comedian.
He's brought it back, but he could have responded in an angry way.
Yeah.
You know,
Pull your socks up, young man. This is not a joke.
But, you know,
That's what he
the
could have
way
put.
he's joined in a bit, but he's also reminded him, you know what, you get more out of him like that.
Yeah.
I think you'll find he's murked him.
He's murked him.
That's what the youths call it.
Is it?
You've been murked.
What does it mean?
I don't know, but Rio Ferdinand did a sort of stunt show where he
I
did
remember
pranks
that.
on fellow footballers, and he'd say at the end,
Oh,
you know...
pranks are great,
Yeah.
aren't they? No.
He'd say, David Beckham, you've been murked, son. That's what he said.
Oh,
dear.
I bet David Beckham misses that banter.
Yeah.
He doesn't miss the training,
No.
but he misses the banter.
I think he still does
But
the training.
can I just say, I agree with Mr. J. I'd be very impressed if someone knew about atmospheric nitrogen.
Really?
Wouldn't you? I
Yeah.
think they were a lot cleverer than me.
See, what that kid has done, he's thought, you know, this girl, she's not going to be interested in the academic side of it. It's all about, you know, whether I murk people or not. And I think, I agree, I think, although, you know, I remember sitting talking to a girl at Warwick University on a bench,
Oh, yeah.
and I was being at my most witty and fascinating. And she kept looking over my shoulder, and there was some man literally digging a hole, a young man with his shirt off. And
Was he stealing focus somewhat from
he was
your
completely
witticisms?
stealing. And honestly, I was on fire. If I'd have taped it, it would have been... I could have just put it out as a one-man show, audio. But she couldn't take her
I'm
eyes off
afraid it's
this
what
man.
Joan Rivers said. I've told you this before, Frank.
What is
Oh,
that?
yeah.
No,
I'm not sure
man,
you can
am I
broadcast
allowed to say this? I don't know if
Not
I
sure.
can. We'll discuss it.
Is it too rude?
I don't know. We'll discuss it.
Yeah, let's not. No, let's
I
not
know
say
what
this.
quote you're about to do. It is quite rude.
Maybe we shouldn't
Okay.
do it. We can put it on the website.
Yeah.
I worry that Mr. J has set a precedent now that if kids don't know the answer in exams, they just ask the teacher a stupid question and then the teacher's sort of obliged to answer it.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have got any marks, would he? He'd have lost a whole section there.
All right.
So there's any children listening.
All right, sir.
A whole section.
Would you ever ask a teacher about dating advice? I think
No.
I told you about Mr. Orchard, our teacher, when he brought his girlfriend to the school hockey.
What? I love the sound of Mr. Orchard. Was he Birmingham
around,
then?
He walked around, I think he's from the West Country, he walked around with his, I've told you this, he had his hands folded behind his back with one index finger sticking out. Just sticking out of the folded hands. And his girlfriend held on to that index finger. like, you know when you see children doing the crocodile down the street thing? She just held on to his index finger and walked with him. It was... Honestly, I thought I was going to throw up.
Frank
Skinner.
on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Apparently Alan's impression of Mr. J, who was mentioned in that earlier link, sounded a lot like his impression of Woody Allen and Blanche off of The Golden Girls from a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I do all the voices.
Yeah, you know Man of a Thousand Voices?
Yeah.
This is a man of one voice.
Remember when Les Dennis used to do, every one of them sounded like that? It was, Ken. I can't remember what she was called.
Mavis.
Yeah. Every one was Mavis.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't ask a teacher for love advice because of Mr. Orchard's index finger.
I wouldn't ask a teacher for anything. And this guy is...
Hey.
He's very much in that bit of the Venn diagram of the funny teacher,
Yeah.
which is the easiest bit of the Venn diagram to get into, isn't it?
Is that right?
God, have you not had this where teachers come up to you after gigs going, oh, we do the same job basically, I'm in front of people.
No, I've never
talking to
had
them." Really? They're always doing it to
But
me.
is he
I
one
just
of those get in with the kids? Is he, I want to talk to you about a little fella named God? Is he that sort of teacher?
I think he might be.
I couldn't bear teachers. I like my teachers very firm, old-fashioned, spare the rod, spoil the child types.
Yeah,
and I got that in abundance.
And also, going to a science teacher for dating advice.
I know,
mean,
but
there can be-
biology.
Yeah,
some
well, the
logic.
question
I know what you
seemed a
mean.
bit-
If I was having troubles with my relationship, I wouldn't phone
Yeah.
Professor Brian Cox. In fact, I can't imagine
You
what
wouldn't.
I'd phone him about.
You would-
Why are they
if you
doing
having,
atmospheric nitrogen? We used to do life cycle of a fly. We never
Nice.
did that.
We did the fishing industry in Scandinavia.
Did you?
That's all I remember that we did at school.
Rat autopsy, loved that. We did that.
Autopsy.
Rat
yeah.
Autopsy, yeah, they were a great
Did
band.
you do that?
They were.
I'm not being rude, but that was a bit expensive for your school, probably.
No, I don't.
Because we had to buy the animals in.
I
Well,
don't like
A,
the
you
idea.
are being rude, but B, you're probably right.
No, one thing we had plenty of was rats. So we did that. Looking back now, I feels awful that we did that. But at
Yeah.
the time, I didn't even think about it.
At the time, it was great, wasn't it?
We used to have an African
loved
clawed.
autopsy.
There used to be an African clawed toad boiling, forever boiling in the corner of the biology lab, like an eternal flame. Yeah, like a boiling cylinder of water. It's all swollen up.
I mean, I'm going to take Emily's turn here and say I would have thought that would have been a bit expensive for your school.
African clawed
toad.
toad.
I think it had. I think
where I
it had
come
fallen in. I don't know if it was.
I think it had just come to West Bromwich from Africa.
I think they just put the kettle on and it took a shortcut. You know when you have a soft drink and there's a gnat has landing on the top of it. It's like
Yeah.
that.
You're listening to Frank Skinner's podcast from Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily Dean and Alan Cochrane. Text us, if you will, on 81215. Follow us on Twitter, if you'd like to, at Frank on the Radio, or email us, if you'd care to, on Absolute Radio website.
We've had texts in.
Or do none of those. Sorry.
We've had texts in. Frank, did you know that bread and vinegar both contain traces of alcohol
Exactly.
from the yeast fermentation process?
Exactly.
The hell they do.
Probably in greater quantities than your non-alcoholic wine.
But I
you-
never get groggy when I'm eating bread or drinking vinegar.
You did seem a
Who
little
says here?
heady when you were watching that match.
Yeah,
with your wine.
I was very heady, Lamar. I was. I started to feel a bit. Ooh, baby.
He was a little bit.
Frank Spencer.
Yeah.
He did. He put his arm around the back of the sofa. Oh, what about when I taught Buzz to say "I love you"?
Did you?
Yeah.
Well,
That's
it was
nice.
love you, wasn't
Well,
it?
what I did, I taught
that's
him to
nice.
say it in the slightly insincere, showbizy way that I say it.
So Emily said, like, love you, love you.
And Buzz went, love you. So now Buzz will say, I love you, sort of like Got Kwan, really.
Yeah, but it is a bit like. Have you seen that dog on the internet that goes, "I love you"?
Yeah.
Goes,
Cockerel.
That's how Buzz says it.
That's how he does it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't try it on a first date. Is anyone listening? Imagine just leaning across into your partner's ear and going.
Would it be any worse than discussing the scientific rationale behind carbon dating, though? That's the big question of the
Found
day.
Brian Cox. He'll know. He doesn't look like a man who knows stuff, does he?
He doesn't.
That's I
The
think.
scientists sometimes don't, Frank, to
No,
be
but
fair.
that's his secret, you see.
Oh, yeah.
I think if people look very intelligent, you're a bit frightened and a bit, you know. He looks like a man. Well, he looks like a man who might wear 12 or 15 badges, if you know what I'm saying. He's got a simplicity about his look.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you
I
think.
know what you're saying.
And so when he talks about science, you think, there's a chance for me in the science front. If this fool,
get this,
if this
yeah.
fool knows about it. I'm not saying he is.
fool.
I'm not
Charming
saying.
man.
Obviously, he's a very bright man, but I'm saying he doesn't come over as like a super academic bloke. He's sort of like the bloke.
He doesn't have the Magnus Pike eccentricity physically.
No.
Yeah, I understand. I tell
Okay.
you what. I don't.
Actually, wasn't the point I was making. The point I was making
What?
is he doesn't seem over bright in his manner.
He's not
I
threatening.
know, but I'm trying to cover it up.
Have you been in his manner? Have you though?
No.
Okay.
So
You know him, don't you?
I've met him once.
Yeah, I've met him once as well.
Okay, so we're equal.
Oh,
very
we've had
charming.
another of those facts that people tell you as if
Okay.
they're not known. Hi, Frank M. and Cock Sportif. That's me.
Brian
Why-
Cox Sportif.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Try talking about Nothing Compares to You. Someone will say, Prince wrote that song.
Oh, yeah.
Do they say that?
Oh, they
Well-
do.
Well, three of us are all nodding, so I think that's a unanimous vote. You're looking
But, you know,
confused.
Prince is one of the great gaps in my life.
Yeah, but that's because it was 19...
It
you
really
know.
was when I was at the height of my drinking, and like my girlfriend said, "Oh wow, Prince did a secret gig in London
Yeah.
this week." Honestly, if she'd have said to me that Wincy Willis had done a secret gig, the former weatherwoman from TVAM, it wouldn't have meant any more to me. I'd have probably thought, actually, I wouldn't mind seeing that.
I was at that Wincy Willis gig. That was good.
Was it any good?
Oh, God, I was right in the mosh pit.
Didn't you have a ghetto blaster on the central reservation?
I missed out on Prince. I have no idea.
Must have heard the lorry drivers play music as they went past.
But that was country and western. Did he? Yeah, was it? I don't know if he was any good. Maybe I'll need to.
He was. You say it like there's
Can I just
no
tell you?
access to his music because it's gone.
He was
You missed the window.
No, it's got, I think
He's terrible.
Once you've missed
He's
it.
terrible, Prince. He's so overrated. Awful.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
I know you don't like praise, but... Oh, no, you actually won't like
I
this.
like praise. I just don't like.
And what about when
you
Lee
listen to
Evans
a-
called you a genius last night?
Did he?
Yeah.
did?
At a gig in Birmingham, at Glee Club.
Oh, lovely.
Oh.
But
That's nice.
that is nice. But
He used to play in King's Heath, Birmingham, over 20 years ago. Do you remember that?
I do.
Okay.
But no, I like praise, but I don't like it when people on radio shows say we've had an email come in saying I think it's a brilliant show, but and you think, well, don't read that bit out. Where's your sense of that's one thing I found about the Olympic Open ceremony when the bloke got up and talked about Russia, the Russian representative.
Yeah.
You never get people, statesmen, being modest about their country. They never say, we're nothing special, Russia, but, we're trying out. It's always the fabulous country we have created. You think, oh, dear.
We're nothing special.
I'm not sure it's in the Russian DNA to come out and go, hey, we're
No,
nothing
but
special.
you'd never
In
even...
fact,
don't look too
I'm a bit of
closely
a
at
bore.
us.
No, but, David Cameron will say, and, British industry, with the countries, with the envy of the... He'd never say, things haven't gone so well in this country. Let's face it, people aren't, they don't care as much as they used to. But we're battling on, and it's all, we're all friends. Why don't people stop showing off?
Well, this is the sort of text that we're more likely to read out, although it does contain praise.
Is it Stephen Sue?
No, this is...
Stephen Sue,
This is
was he the
764.
Chinese detective?
No.
Dear Frank, I enjoyed the show last night, standing by the bar, but was mesmerised by your choice of shoes. I think that's someone that's seen your stand-up, but instead of saying,
What
hey,
were
it's
the
really
shoes?
funny,
You
were
did
well
you-
shod.
Did you have your caramel brogues on?
But it does make you, I think I did have it does make you wonder, doesn't it, if the mind has they've drifted away a bit if they start looking at your shoes.
We got a text earlier about my hoodie that I wore for my gig last night.
I'm going to read it now. It's
Oh,
from
no.
Stephen Sue. They want to say good morning to us guys and girls.
Morning.
Okay.
Also, they want to wish Alan a happy birthday.
I don't know if we can
Thanks
say
very
guys
much.
and girls.
No, I
on
don't think we
radio.
can. I'm
So
really
those
sorry
days-
about that,
those days
Stephen
are-
Sue.
We didn't know, you said.
We went to see Alan yesterday at the Comedy Bunker.
Alan yesterday, is that the bloke who does Imagine?
We sat in the front row, and me and my wife enjoyed every minute he was on stage. Sorry, it's praise.
My wife and I.
Yeah.
Oh,
They want to go and see you now, Frank, but they've mainly said they love Alan's hoodie. It makes him look younger than we thought.
that's nice. I do feel like I've turned
do you have it on back to
39.
front?
I've turned 39 today, and
Let's not discuss people's ages. Seems a bit
Yeah.
unnecessary.
When I started this show, I was younger than you. That's a weird thing, isn't it? I have worn a
I
hoodie,
think
which
it's
I
like
don't
I
often wear
felt
on
with
stage.
Emily. It's a bit like when a 400 metres starts and you're on the outside lane and you think well I'm well ahead here, and then you find that when you get round to the straight, it all levels out and everybody's
Yes.
the same.
What
age.
about when I lied about my age once, and then
Once?
I don't do it anymore, but I lied once, and then Frankie Boyle appeared in the room. I was with some friends, and he said, "Oh, you went to Sussex? I went there as well. So you must be. So who do you know? So and so." It started talking about all these people. I didn't know any of them because I'd lied.
Oh no!
I know, it was awful. I just walked out the room. I thought I can't be friends with him.
Well, I'm
No,
39
he shouldn't
today.
have done that. Of all the outrageous things he's done,
Yeah. Finally, we've got him.
That is right up there.
This is
Frank Skinner, Absolute Radio.
Talk more about my special day.
We are, because
Definitely.
Lucy Hamlin has tweeted us to say, I'm listening to Frank on the radio in a budget hotel. Who said romance was dead?
Oh, nice.
Not me.
I woke up on my 39th birthday in
Well, think yourself lucky for that.
in a £44 a night hotel, living the dream. Yes, indeed.
That's not bad, is it?
And it's a good bargain, but I'm not sure it's quite the high achieving lifestyle I'd pictured for myself. At
But
18.
you own your own house.
Yeah,
Did you have a hire car outside?
I did. Yeah.
Lovely. I thought you might.
And a year ago, when it was my birthday coming up, do you remember we had a conversation?
Surely a
Frank?
year ago was your birthday.
It was, yeah, but on the show, I said, oh yeah, it's my birthday tomorrow, and you said, what age? And I said 38, and you said, better get famous soon. You not remember that?
Did I say
did.
that? I'm sorry I said that. But once again, you've completely ignored my advice.
Oh, I don't know about that.
But that is your next autobiography, Frank. I'm sorry I said that.
I've played a minor role on a channel that, on a sitcom on a channel that most people don't have. I've done my bit. Surely that counts.
Yeah, but of course the word on the street is that sitcom's going to be massive and win loads of awards.
Can I say I saw a trailer of that sitcom?
Did you?
And I actually lolled.
You never.
I did.
How come
Did
you've
you?
seen a trailer of it and I haven't? I mean,
Because
that doesn't
I'm
seem
kind
fair.
of a big deal.
You're connected.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
It was
there's
amazing.
When you say lol, do you mean with one L? Or did you
Alan wasn't in the trailer.
Did you
though.
just
Nodded
slightly
off.
laugh? Just slightly laugh.
It was a hot room.
Oh, yes. It's good. Yes.
So
You know, when you do that jump, you're just slipping off. You have to do that
on the
big jump.
tube.
I've got a bit of a birthday present gaff to reveal to you guys.
A Dean Gaff.
Yeah, 6 weeks ago, January
If you
sales
made a
time.
mistake, would it be a Dean Gaff?
That's great. 6 weeks ago, January sales, I took the liberty of going onto John Lewis's website and buying myself some articles of clothing. They arrive a couple of days later. I open the John Lewis parcel, and in there is a George Clooney Nespresso coffee maker. I hadn't read the label, and it was addressed to my wife, but she hadn't said to me, I've ordered something from John Lewis, don't dare open it.
Oh,
She
was that
knew
your
that'd been
surprise?
Yeah. Who orders
Sorry, when... Just
6 weeks in advance?
Point
What?
of order, when you say George Clooney Nespresso coffee maker, can you please say it with the right tone of voice?
I haven't seen the advert,
Okay.
but you can.
Yeah.
Go on.
No.
Okay.
Don't give the people what they want. Don't you
So
agree,
all the
Frank?
time I've been talking about
Yeah.
George Clooney on this show,
Yeah.
that anecdote must have been burning a hole in your
Thinking,
pocket.
I've got one of them.
And is he right to advertise it?
Oh, yeah, it's good.
It's great, isn't it? I got
It's
one of
so
those.
good that I've actually used up all the little cartridges. So now I need to do some...
Oh, I've got loads. I'll give you some.
brilliant. They're not cheap. That
Do you
sounds
like
great.
the Nespresso Club chat, Frank?
Yes, it's. I hate coffee anyway, so I don't care about it. But,
Expensive, that's
One
one.
thing they never seem to do on the adverts is show George Clooney rush into the bathroom going, "Wow, that was a good espresso." Espresso. I said espresso.
Did you?
You're meant to say espresso, aren't you?
Descartes.
Cup of chino.
Oh, so where did you did you pass it all back up again?
No, I said to my wife, "Why don't I just give you the money for it and you get me another present as well?" And she said,
Suddenly you've taken
said
over
no.
the present buying
"She
process.
said no."
No.
So there's
Quite
no
right.
surprises. I mean, I've been dropping
She
hints
probably
like
got
a
it free.
maniac.
Probably got it free on co-op stamps. Didn't want to do that.
Co-op stamps.
Well, we met.
Just buy me gifts from
I
20
was
years
around-
I
ago.
used to love those. Green Shield stamps my nanny used to get.
I was in the spirit of all things birthday-esque. When I arrived at Absolute this morning, the cockerel was outside taking a photograph of the lamppost. I didn't ask why, but apparently he's putting together a dog urine exhibition. But he was taking a photo of a lamppost.
You?
Yeah. for
And
the
I had to
parking
say to
information.
him, there was a moment where I thought he was going to walk in with me into the radio station. And I said, do you mind actually treading water out here a bit while I go and sign your card at reception?
Oh, fine.
And I think you said, didn't you? I've spoilt it now.
Spoiler alert. Now I know there's going to be a card.
Yeah, but you knew anyway, didn't you?
Who wants
down.
the
How
card
much longer are we
anyway?
going to keep up this hollow pretense? Why not just sit and write it in front of each other?
Skinner, Dean, and Cochrane. Together, The Frank Skinner Show.
Absolute Radio.
Subject of your advice about better get famous soon a year ago.
Oh, God, keep bringing that up.
No, but it is relevant because I feel like I might have done a thing this week that could have jeopardised that, and I like to just air it and see what you two think,
Okay.
whether or not I made a catastrophic decision. You know, I've recently done a sitcom,
Yes.
and it's
Why
there
haven't
on the
you brought
CV.
this up before?
And it's written by good people. It's gonna look quite good on the old CV.
Oh.
I was offered an audition this week.
Lovely.
That frankly clashed with an osteopath appointment that I had, and I decided not to go because I felt certain that I wouldn't get the role.
What was it for?
It was for Hollyoaks as a dishy doctor, and I just think. For all I'm not going to beat myself up about my appearance, it's all right, but I think I'm an acquired taste. I think you have to look at my face for quite a while before it becomes okay.
I think you're quite Route 1 handsome.
No, I'm never going to be dishy doctor in Hollyoaks.
What do you think, Frank? Be honest, be totally honest.
I would.
Oh, it's
I mean, in
disgusting.
different
I
circumstances.
think it would have been a waste of, 2 hours. They wouldn't have cast me as a dishy doctor in Hollyoaks. They'd have gone with somebody that's
You've
more
got
classic.
you're Scandi hot.
No, I think you
they
are.
weren't
I mean, I'm
casting
not
like a
saying you're George
Scandinavian
Lamb.
clown.
Wind the windows down
But
when
this
you're
is
in the
more-
car with
see,
you.
this is more the thing I want from world leaders when they're talking about their countries.
Well,
Yes,
it's
you're
got a
right.
doubt.
It's kind of
Slightly more measured approach. Yeah.
Saying, we're all right, I mean,
Yeah.
I think we're a bit of an acquired taste. Imagine if the Russian had said that. We're a bit of an acquired taste, the
Yeah.
Russia, I accept that,
If you like vodka and gas, then we're your guys. But other than that, we're difficult.
I,
And aggressive-looking fonts. I love an aggressive font.
Yeah,
do
the
love an
writing
aggressive
does look
font.
aggressive,
No
doesn't
wonder
it?
most of them don't even get baptised. I think you're a handsome man.
I do.
Very nice,
and
but I
you
don't-
have a dishy doctor look
I
to
don't
you.
think
Yeah.
Hollyoaks.
You're the sort of person I can imagine giving prescription drugs to teenagers on Hollyoaks.
I'm going to give it a
Bad
caveat.
about
I think
this
you're
now.
very good looking in a, oh my God, have you seen Alan, have you seen that child's dad way? Do you know what I mean? Is that bad?
Yeah, I just don't think that would get me cast in Hollyoaks. Again, you need that supporting.
Would you have been in it for several?
I think it was. I think it was about 4 eps plus, maybe more. I don't know.
If you were popular.
If it was popular, yeah.
I love the way you
just
guys
don't-
have gone a bit industry with your eps.
Yeah, I don't know when it would TX, but
Oh, the industry talk.
I think you'd look younger as well because you don't need Botox on the forehead if you've got that big mirror thing on elastic that they have, the doctors.
I think it was a gynecologist role or something.
Well, no, I think all sorts. They all do. It's. I think they all use that, don't
Do
they?
they?
Yeah, the circular mirror on the forehead on elastic. That's absolutely the doctor's badge.
Is it?
Yeah.
Carry On Films idea of what a
well,
doctor carries around with
I
him.
have an image now of Little Shop of Horrors. I don't know why that's coming to me, but anyway.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Well, we haven't talked about.
Whoa, let me see now.
We haven't talked about Liz
The
Hurley
Grapes
this
of
morning.
Wrath.
No, Liz Hurley, Frank.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't true, though, was it?
No.
Well, I believe Tom Sizemore, who's
Yes.
an actor, he was the one that said it.
Made up name.
And I think
he has a lot more regrets than he used to have.
I believe he might
He
have.
sighs more.
Oh yeah,
Sorry.
he suggested, didn't he, that she'd been intimate
I
with
don't know
Bill
if he
Clinton.
suggested it.
He
sort of
said it.
it.
Yeah, but I think
He was recorded saying
he was
it.
strung out at the time, Frank.
He was all strung out.
I've never been strung out on anything except music.
I like the way she denied it. She said more ridiculous claims. Yawn.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that when people start saying I'm going out with a Northampton clown. Yawn.
Yeah.
I'm in
Yawn.
touch with my lawyers.
I'm
Yeah.
only going to say it if I'm texting my Swedish pen pal.
Yawn.
Oh, no, that's
Bjorn.
sorry, that's Bjorn. Sorry, everyone. Can we do that again? Live? Oh, dear.
She's upset at the suggestion that she had an affair with Bill Clinton. I would be so unupset about this. I would be screaming it from the hilltops. I would love it. I was excited enough just to be in a car with George Lamb. Imagine someone had said I'd been having an affair with Bill Clinton.
I know, it's... And,
Is he your type?
Is he my type? He's everyone's type. He's meant to be the most charismatic man in the world. I've heard that officially.
The
Meant to
most
be.
charismatic man in the world.
I know, he's from
Wow.
Arkansas, but still.
Yeah.
Wow.
I reckon he could be cast as a dishy doctor on Hollyoaks if he plays his cards
I
right.
reckon he could have been the wingman in the Arkansas Chocobuck on Wacky Races.
You reckon?
Remember when there used to be all hillbilly used to
Yeah.
drive with his feet?
No.
Okay. Well, I wanted... It was one of those I wanted to believe it. Because there was pictures of Bill
Yeah.
Clinton and her at dinner, and they honestly, you thought, well, how there's something going on, but
Yeah, she looked great in those pictures.
and his son, he's very, very rich, and she was, I mean,
She looked hot.
she was poor though at the time. Remember, her dress was held together by safety pins.
Yeah, see, that's what
It was like Cinderella,
Yeah.
Prince Charming.
Yeah, she seems like the sort of girl that would be good to go out with, because she's got all those safety pins. She must be, a preparation freak. She's probably got a big bag like Mary Poppins with stuff in there. Safety pins, blue tack, stretchy bandage.
You're doing your 90s references.
She'd be very good for, seeing.
But she's a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She is.
I mean, they'd make a lovely couple, but I think he's married.
I believe so.
I think he's well publicised as being married, yeah.
But when I started to not believe it was when Thomas Sizemore was alleging what Bill Clinton had said, which was, Elizabeth, I don't have time for this, I'm keeping the world from nuclear war.
Yeah.
Firstly, he wouldn't refer to nuclear war because it's not 1964.
Well,
I think he might say armed conflict or something. I don't think it's like some madman's going to come in and push the button. It's that
I
kind
think
of
he'd
thing.
have said nuclear.
yeah.
Do you really think he'd have said that?
If I had the button that was the yes or no, the yay or nay.
There isn't a yes or no
war.
button, everyone, just so we're clear on that.
No, but I would be bragging about it.
Yeah.
I'd be saying, look, have I got... Don't come asking me, I've got on the button, bloke. Asking me about what pencils we're going to get. You asked the button man about pencils, you sort that out. Initiative. That's how I'd be.
In a Birmingham accent.
Yeah, well, any man can become president, that's what they always say.
Absolute Radio.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Just googled Alun, I would. That's from Ellie.
Thanks very much, Ellie.
Yeah.
I still don't think that makes me castable in Hollyoaks, but it's fine. It's okay.
Well, not if you won't go for the audition.
That's true enough. I had to go and see the man about my back, though, didn't I?
Yeah, £2,000.
We haven't discussed...
No, that's
was that the
that's
fee?
what you're being paid.
Oh, I'd have done it.
we haven't discussed Wendy Deng either.
Oh, yes, Wendy
Deng
Deng.
dong.
There's another outrageous rumour that, again, we're not in any
Presidential.
way... Yeah.
Prime Ministerial.
Suggesting that Wendy Deng...
Mm-hmm.
Wendy Deng Robin... Wendy Deng, who was married to Rupert Murdoch, might have had a bit of a
Liaison.
Tony Blair thing.
La liaison dangereuse.
Yeah, Dengo. Dengo, as we call her.
Yeah.
I think Sherry Blair said, a dingo took my baby. Yeah, it was... I mean, again, this has been totally denied. We should make this absolutely
We should
clear.
say, because we don't have enough money for those lawsuits.
Although I don't know if
What about the
her note has been denied. There's been
No.
her penmanship.
She was said to have written a note, wasn't she? Which was discovered.
But you could write a note which said someone had got nice legs and a nice bottom.
She didn't say that. What did she say, Alan? She said, he has such good body and has really good legs.
Mm-hmm. I love his power on the stage.
And he is slim tall.
And there is a picture of him with his shirt off where he looks like a beefcake. I
He looks
honestly thought it was a
amazing.
superimposed head, like one of those.
Yeah, I saw that picture.
Great.
I didn't know Blair.
He's on a level with George
overachiever.
Lamb in that photograph.
Horrendous
Really?
overachiever.
And he
Blair.
has, she says, pierced blue eyes, which I love.
Pierced blue eyes.
Yeah.
I bet that hurts. What's he got a Prince Albert through each one?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if you've seen him now. He's done that thing with the big holes in his ears as well. It's well cool.
Oh.
Well cool.
I'd rather have Sherry, though, wouldn't you?
Would you?
No.
Actually, that was my catchphrase in the 80s.
If we could have a world leader,
I'd rather have Sherry.
who would your world
the
leader?
breakfast cereal. My world leader, there's
Yeah.
only one choice. It's got to be Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Isn't
He's
that
my
your
crush.
choice?
I don't
just
know.
like-
He's not a world leader, but I like power, and I'm going for a bit of Bob Crow
No,
at
but
the
I
moment.
just
Bob
like
Crow.
that.
I like Bob Crow.
I like that shaved hair thing
got
that
the
he's
power.
got.
I do.
It's
Buzz
like
cut.
it's like the girl from Bow Wow Wow. He's got that kind of look to him.
Well, I watched a documentary about Gaddafi the other night, and what a baddie he was, but
What, are you
handsome
saying that in
young
an
man.
I would way?
He was a handsome young man, Gaddafi.
Was he?
could have played a doctor in Hollyoaks.
What,
Oh, it's-
Gaddafi Doc?
As a young fella, he had a glint in
No,
his
I don't
eye.
like him. He's a bit Greek dad, no.
But yeah, he did look a bit Greek dad, but a honey of one.
He should have gone to neck shavers. Anyway, thank you so much for listening today. And you know what? If the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll be back again this time next week. Now get out.
The Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio. Back Saturday morning from 8. Tune in live for the full Frank experience.